Heyo, welcome into the CHGO All-Star Pregame Show. Presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A, obviously standing for All-Star because it's the All-Star Game. It's the 2022 MLB All-Star Game happening at Dodger Stadium, and we have a full All-Star crew with us. I'm Sean Anderson of the CHGO White Sox podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And joining me from the CHGO White Sox podcast is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's the CHGO White Sox community leader. Joining us in red, Luke Stuckmeyer, the host of the CHGO Cubs podcast. And to the far, far left is the co-host of CHGO Bets Daily and the what's your title? Content creator?
Yeah, I like that.
Content creator.
That's
for
what I tell
CHGO
my
Cubs.
friends.
You can follow him on Twitter.
Analytics
Cody
expert.
_CHGO. We're excited to preview the All-Star Game. It is closing in on the 90th anniversary. This is the 89th All-Star Game in the history. Have they played enough of these, Cody?
In my opinion, yes, but we just keep playing on because not everyone has my opinion. But
Have they played enough of these, Luke?
No, this is the only All-Star game that I actually care about. The Pro Bowl is a total waste of time, should never, ever happen at any level, despite the fact that it gets good TV ratings. The NBA game is a joke. The hockey game is a joke. This is pretty close to real baseball. Like, guys are actually trying in this. You can't just go out there and screw around for the most part. I like the All-Star game.
Herb?
I'm not a fan of the All-Star game. It happens in the middle of the season. Like, you have these guys with great first halves and then fall off the table. First halves, too. I would much rather have the All-Star game at the end of the year, but I understand why it's not, because guys wouldn't want to go. It would be colder. So, yeah, I'm not a fan necessarily of the game, but I'm looking forward to Timmy getting his All-Star start, though.
You guys laughing at beer money was a joke?
yeah,
Why? What the hell, Tom? Why are you throwing side
it's like
swipes?
White Sox Tom coming
Luke,
in here and
I have
just
always dreamed
laying
of
the
being
hammer
on beer
down.
money. Can we
What
bring?
top-rated show were you on?
Oh yeah, boom.
Yeah, Tom.
Tom?
I always wanted to
It
be
was the
on.
number 1 rated trivia show in America.
It was
Okay,
awesome.
it wasn't that. But
I always wanted.
it was Chicago's number 1 rated trivia show. It was the only one.
Yes, and it got the great 83.
That's right.
From Clark. So I
It
mean,
was a
that's
joke. Actually,
Chicago
it was a
TV
joke.
history.
Let's be honest, it was a joke. That was the fun part about it, was getting all the crazy people.
Yeah, it
I know
was
I tuned in
entertaining.
all the time. And during rain delay theater,
Yeah,
nothing better than hearing
That's
beer money
true.
or gas money going on
Gas money.
for the whole time, where you're just going along with people like, oh my God, it's so easy. John Lester. And then Luke's just sitting there just like, you sure you want to go with that answer? Are you sure?
Then they change their mind.
And then
They get it wrong.
Luke makes him mess up.
Was gas money any different than beer money?
No, it was the same thing. It was
Okay.
Gas Money was the same show, but then Miller Lite and Coors became a sponsor, and we're like, well, that's a little uncomfortable, so it became Beer Money.
So I think it's pretty clear that Tom is just a gas money elitist.
Probably.
Just wasn't a fan of the beer take on it. But I'm excited about the All-Star Game. I'm with Luke. I think it's a great classic. It is in the middle of the year, and you get some weird All-Stars. Brian LaHare comes to mind. Ron Coomer comes to mind. But that's also just the
Ron
fun of it.
Coomer.
Like you have to have a representative of every team. I think it's a good showcase of the sport. It doesn't have to be super serious, and it's one of the games. I think this and the Pro Bowl are the ones that have kind of stayed the most closest to their sport, because now hockey's 3-on-3. The NBA's playing with the what's the rule?
The Elam
Elam rule.
rule.
So I don't know. I like the All-Star Game.
This is the problem. You just mentioned it. Everybody has to be represented. That's not an all-star game. That is a participation trophy. Guess who's sitting at the crib? Number 83, Dylan Cease. 84, Dylan Cease. Because the Oakland A's pitcher had to go, which the Oakland A's were going to make that man ride in a regular-ass plane until the Houston Astros like, hey, you could take our charter
Cubs
down.
legend Paul Blackburn.
Yeah, and so,
Good call.
yes, Dylan Cease should be in this game.
Forward
If
now.
it's an all-star game, get the best players out there and who deserves it. So, yes, I do not like the fact that they have every team. Sometimes the White Sox don't deserve people to go to the all-star game. This year, fortunately they do.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Jesse Crane was an All-Star for the White Sox. Avi Garcia was an All-Star for the White Sox. So it's been some rough years. And hey, Brandon was wondering. He wanted me to ask Cody. Cody, what do you think of the All-Star jerseys?
I think they absolutely blow. They suck.
You're not
dude.
buying one?
No. Again, I like the hats, but these jerseys blow, man.
You were all talking about how you just wish they added some gold to the jerseys. That's what they did, Cody.
No. Let them wear what like Contreras and Happ are gonna wear the home Cubs pinstripe jerseys, and everyone else wear their team's jersey. But if you want to add some gold, like put it on their names on the back or something like that, or on the logo, whatever. But let everyone wear their team's jersey. There's something about that I've always enjoyed. If I had to say anything nice about the All-Star game.
And White Sox, Tom, yes, it's a meaningless game, but guess what? Pat Hughes every single day introduces Ron Coomer, All-Star Ron Coomer, former All-Star Ron Coomer.
All-Star.
That goes for the rest of your life.
That's right.
I'm telling you that Dylan Cease cares about that shit, and it's not a meaningless game. And if he doesn't pitch, it doesn't mean anything. He's an all-star. That is a big-time honor. And hanging out with the rest of the people who are all-stars, your peers. That's a big-time thing. I don't care if he pitched on Sunday. Name him as the guy. You don't have to pitch in the game. Just name him as the guy.
It's like being former Beer Money host. It's a big deal at some point. You know?
Absolutely. Hey, you guys want to play a quick round of beer money here? If you can name every Cub player to hit a home run in the All-Star game, I will buy you a round of beer.
No.
All right, Cody?
Everyone? How many of them?
As much as Cody wants.
Okay. No, how many?
Chris Bryant, Willson Contreras, Sammy Sosa, probably.
You got two. No Sammy Sosa.
How many are?
No?
I don't know, but it dates back to 1936,
Jesus
so I don't think Cody's getting.
I know. Those are the two I
Gabby
can remember off
Hartnett.
the top of my head.
No Gabby Hartnett. I don't think Gabby Hartnett even played in an All-Star game.
Sammy
So,
hit one?
This could be a long day.
Sean said no.
What was that?
Sammy did not hit one?
No. Yeah, we don't have to do this game. I don't think you're going to get any.
I don't think
Those
we're
are the
gonna
two that I can remember that I said. Contreras and Chris Bryant.
Those are the most recent ones. Hey, let's look back at All-Star history and look at the teams that we're representing. We got the Sox on one side. We got the Cubs on another side. Let's look at the all-time rosters here. We'll start with the Sox. You got Carlton Fisk at catcher. He was a 4-time All-Star for the Sox. Paul Konerko was a 6-time All-Star for the Sox at first base. Nellie Fox was a 12-time All-Star at second base for the Sox. Louis Aparicio was like a 14-time All-Star for the Sox at shortstop, but Tim Anderson's cooler, and he's starting tonight, so we're going to go with Tim Anderson, who's a 2-time All-Star. Third base, real thin, Herb, but you got your guy Robin Ventura, a 1-time All-Star. Mags Ordonez out in right field. He was a 4-time All-Star. Minnie Minoso was a 6-time All-Star in left field for the Sox. Al Simmons, the guy who I ended up getting my Sox math question right on, he was a 3-time All-Star in center field. Frank Thomas, 5-time All-Star. Chris Sale, 5-time All-Star. And Liam Hendriks, 2-time All-Star. Herb, what sticks out there to you for the Sox?
The fact that Robin Ventura only made one All-Star. Like, he's the most slept-on White Sox player of all time, I believe. Partly because he was a bad manager, and so White Sox fans think about him as that instead of the Gold Glove winning, Grand Slam hitting, goddamn champion-ass White Sox third baseman he was. If you look at the Grand Slam leaders of all time, they're some of the best and most prolific home run hitters of all time. A-Rod's up there, Manny Ramirez is up there, and then you'll see a name, and you're like, Robin Ventura? Yeah, he's like the 5th best Grand Slam hitter of all time. He only hit like 200-plus home runs. All the rest are like 500 home run hitters. Put some respect on my man Robin Ventura's name. Jerks.
There you go.
Jerks. Is a Grand Slam more exciting than an inside the park home run? I always hear inside the park home run, the most exciting play in baseball. And I'd rather see a Grand Slam.
Yeah. Grand Slam is much better.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's
runs.
exciting because it's timed. You know, it's how fast can the guy run. But also, Grand Slams are cooler because 4 runs and it goes far.
And Robin Ventura, I think, the only man to ever hit a Grand Slam single in the playoffs. He hit a home run to walk it off versus the Mets. They didn't let him get to second base.
Oh.
The ball went over the fence. It was when he was a Met. It's called the Grand Slam single. It's a very famous thing.
Well, I don't remember it because it was a Met thing. We're talking about the White Sox, Herb.
He's great everywhere he went.
Let's talk about the Cubs. Cubs all-time roster. Willson Contreras, your starting catcher. He's a 3-time All-Star. Anthony Rizzo, your starting first baseman. He's a 3-time All-Star. At second base, Ryan Sandberg. He was a 10-time All-Star. At shortstop, Ernie Banks was an 11-time All-Star. Third base, Ron Santo was a 9-time All-Star. Right field, Sammy Sosa was a 7-time All-Star, Sox legend. In left field, Billy Williams is a 6-time All-Star. Andre Dawson in center field, 5-time All-Star. Fergie Jenkins, a 3-time All-Star. And Bruce Sutter, 4-time All-Star as a closer. What do you guys make of that list?
Well, Ron Santo was the only thing that can beat Chris Bryant out. So.
Yeah, Gabby Hartnett was a 6-time All-Star, but 3-time starter like Willson Contreras finally tonight. And it might be one of his last games in a Cubs uniform. I like the up the middle. When you see Ernie and Ryan Sandberg, that's a pretty good, like, a lot of franchises would be happy to have those two.
Rizzo with the defense, too, as well.
It was tough because I was going to put Rizzo, I was going to put Baez, I was going to put Bryant, but they just didn't have, double-digit All-Star.
Right.
Cubs have legendary names.
Like
Those
that.
names are legendary. They're much better than the White Sox name. I think Frank Thomas is probably the most notable guy that we have. Mm-hmm. You can't pick the best player out of those names that the Cubs have as their All-Star.
I think you could. Ernie Banks is probably the best player on that list, right?
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, if you had to pick a Mount Rushmore of Chicago baseball, Frank Thomas is on the list for sure. Ernie's on the list for sure. And then the other spots are probably debatable. But those two for me would have to be on there.
Ron Santo, even though is not liked by many White Sox fans, I looked at his numbers. That man, he played great at third base, and his offense was played. Also, former White Sox, traded for Steve Stone.
Cubs legend, Sox legend, broadcast legend, so I think he gets it. I mean, would you throw like Jack Brickhouse or Harry or Steve Stone in there? Just because
I would do Harry because he was both sides of town over Brickhouse.
So was Steve Stone.
Yeah.
Steve Stone
played for both teams.
Steve Stone is the only guy who played for both teams and broadcast for both teams. So yes, I would put him there. Darren Jackson just needs to go and broadcast for the Cubs.
Yeah, but Darren Jackson's not better than Stoney.
Isn't
I don't know. I mean, hey, I think Stoney was an All-Star for the
elite.
the Orioles in '80. That's a tough question though.
Sammy
I don't know who it
Sosa
would be. Sammy, I mean, he's a White Sox legend. So we'll figure that out. We'll have an answer for the post-game show on who's the Mount Rushmore for the Sox. Let's look at the starting lineup for today's game. Leading off for the American League will be Shohei Ohtani at DH. Batting second, Aaron Judge in right field. Batting third, Rafael Devers at third base. Batting fourth, Vladimir Guerrero at first base. Batting fifth, Giancarlo Stanton in left field. Batting sixth, Byron Buxton in center field. Batting seventh, Tim Anderson at shortstop. Batting eighth, Andre Jimenez at second base. And batting ninth, Alejandro Kirk at catcher. Tim Anderson finally going to get an at-bat, Herb.
Yeah, finally. It's good. And they got the best hitter hitting ninth there. That's weird. But, yeah, it's great to have that murderer's row of a lineup. Clayton Kershaw is going to run into a buzzsaw when he pitches versus those great hitters. And Tim Anderson hitting seventh, mercy.
Let's look at the National League starting lineup, and you got a Cub in there. He is batting sixth. Leading off is Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves in right field. Batting second, Mookie Betts of the Dodgers in center field. Batting third, Manny Machado of the Padres at third base. Batting fourth, Paul Goldschmidt of the Cardinals at first base. Batting fifth, Trey Turner of the Dodgers at shortstop. Batting sixth, Willson Contreras of the Cubs at catcher. Batting seventh, William Contreras, the Braves designated hitter at eighth, Jock Peterson, the Giants left fielder, and ninth, Jeff McNeil, the Mets second baseman. You got the two Contreras brothers. It's a big storyline, huh?
Man, that's pretty cool. I mean, really, think about just getting to the major league level or professional level of any sport. Amazing. Now think about going there and getting to an all-star level. You saw the first time Willson Contreras did it, he cried. Mm-hmm. Now he's going to do it with his brother, batting right behind him. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they're both going to be mic'd up at this game so we can hear one batting and one in the on-deck circle. I would love to know what the points bet over-under is on when Willson cries first, because he will sob many, many times in this game, is my guess.
I would say he sobs when they call his brother's name.
They call his brother's name. Like,
absolutely.
By the time they get to him, like Niagara Falls.
No Sean Marino? Was that the Broncos running back? Just welling up like that. Yeah. Hey, another beer money question for you guys. There's been five pairs of brothers to start in an MLB All-Star game together. Can you name one of them?
God, who was the last one? I just read this. The Boones?
No Boones.
No Boones?
Griffey? No Boones. No Griffey's. That's father-son.
No. I just saw it.
1991 and 1992. Some Sox legends.
1991. Let's see. Goodness gracious. Brothers on the White Sox. who started
Sammy
in the
Sosa
All-Star
and
game.
Santorini.
They weren't on the wall. They both played for the White Sox, but they weren't on the White Sox at this
I
time.
just saw
Okay.
this.
There's Joe DiMaggio and Dom DiMaggio in 1949,
I've heard of
Dixie
them.
Walker and Harry Walker in 1947, Mort Cooper and Walker Cooper in 1942 and 1943. 1991, there's a second baseman, and in 1991 and 1982, there's a second baseman and catcher, brother duo.
Give us a team.
One was the Blue Jays, and I think the other one was Cleveland.
Alomar.
Alomar.
Yeah.
Roberto Alomar and Sandy Alomar Jr.
Naked guys
Two
outside.
White Sox
again, by the
legends.
way.
Come on.
There
Got
he
it.
is.
Sorry.
There he is. Naked guy
All
just
right.
went back inside.
Let's look at the starting pitchers for today's matchup. You got Shane McClanahan on the bump for the Rue McClanahan on the bump for the American League. He's 10-3, with 110 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.71 ERA, and a .79 WHIP. He has 147 Ks, which is second in the major leagues, right behind Dylan Cease, and 19 walks allowed. Clayton Kershaw is getting the start in Dodger Stadium. He's 7-2, 71 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.13 ERA, a .9 WHIP, and he's got 75 strikeouts, 212 walks. Herb, the big thing for the Sox, no Dylan Cease. Shane McClanahan is a worse pitcher. Your thoughts?
I don't know if it's the worst pitcher, but yeah, I just think that Dylan Cease deserves his call out to L.A. The thing that I will have solace in is that he'll make many more All-Star games in the future because he'll be one of the best pitchers in the American League when he pitches for the White Sox. So he'll take this as a slight, and he'll be having a revenge tour this whole offseason. I mean, this whole second half. Hopefully, they play the Houston Astros again, but I don't know if they do. They probably have to host them here at Guaranteed Rate because that trip down to Houston earlier was not that great for the White Sox. But, yes, Dylan Cease deserves an all-star recognition right here. Better yet, he deserves a Cy Young, so let's go ahead and get that. I think Jake Arrieta did that, where he got snubbed the year that he was having a great year and then went out and won a Cy Young.
The guys I think that we can think of, Rick Porcello wasn't named an All-Star and won the Cy Young. Jake Arrieta won the Cy Young and wasn't an All-Star. Robbie Ray last year, I think, wasn't an All-Star and won the Cy Young. So it leads up for Dylan Cease. We'll try. I'll figure that out. We have tomorrow's day off, so tomorrow I'll be looking up AL Cy Youngs who weren't named All-Stars and putting Dylan Cease into that limelight. Clayton Kershaw getting the start. I thought it was going to be Tony Gonsolin. I thought it might have been Sandy Alcantara. They end up going with Clayton Kershaw. I guess that's fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, this guy just continues to do it, man. We're going to sit and applaud the guy who's been washed for 10 years at the Derby last night. But, like, Clayton Kershaw has been literally doing it his entire career. They should celebrate him as he walks off the mound tonight, if you ask me. So that's my 2 cents on that.
He's supposed to be a great dude, by the way, Clayton Kershaw. Like, I've never heard other players say anything bad about Clayton Kershaw, and I've never heard media members say anything bad about Clayton Kershaw. He's just supposed to be a really down-to-earth guy and a great teammate. So I think it's kind of cool that it's happening at Dodger Stadium.
Have you ever heard anything happen about or anything bad about his former catcher in high school?
I have not heard
Matthew
that.
Stafford.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very reminiscent of when Esteban Loaiza started in 2003 at
Sox legend.
U.S. Cellular. So, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing it's only the other time that happened, right? A player making a start at his own.
Esteban Loaiza currently in jail.
Who was his high school catcher?
I forgot about
Was his
that.
high school
Got
catcher
something nice to say about everybody.
Super
I don't
Bowl
know.
winning quarterback?
I think
Remember
it was
when
in-
that guy went to
I
prison?
think it was in San Diego or Tijuana, so I don't know. I did not check up the records, but yes.
Just like Eric Clapton,
narcotics
cocaine,
dealer.
baby. Let's look at the four All-Stars here because we got 2 starters, Willson Contreras and Tim Anderson, batting 6th and 7th for their respective leagues. In the bullpen will be Liam Hendriks in the American League and Ian Happ making his first All-Star appearance as well. That's one turnaround for Ian Happ, guy that was sent down to the minor leagues and now called up and an All-Star. I mean, what do you guys think of that as Cubs fans? How are Cubs fans taking this?
It is exciting for him. As bad as this year has gone, as bad as like it's gonna get, like it is very cool to see Ian Happ get this recognition. As much as like it's cool to say so and so All-Star. I get it. Do I think the All-Star game defines how good of a player is? No, I do not. But so I just want to say that. But for someone like him, who he is having a great year, he's one of the best outfielders in the National League in terms of OPS. And yeah, it's been a very roller coaster ride for him. 2018 after his rookie year was, pretty bad. And then started 2019 in AAA because he came to spring training not really ready to go, from my understanding, at least from what I remember. And then they didn't even call him up until like mid-July, and had a hot rest of the year. 2020 was arguably the Cubs' best hitter for those 60 games. But then last year was really bad in the first half, got hot in the second half. So a lot of it was just, you're either getting really good or really bad. And this year it's just been consistently good. Like, I think that's the thing about this year that's been fun to watch, is like there hasn't really been a streak. It's been really just quality at bats all season. And to me, that's what defines what an all-star player is. He's just someone who's going to show up every day and do what all-stars do. He's
the most unlikely all-star of that group. A year ago at this time, I was thinking the Cubs would non-tender him.
Yeah, same.
And 365 days later, we're talking about what they would get for him in a return. He's an all-star. He deserves it. It's really kind of amazing the flip he's made in his career in just a year.
Yeah.
And Herb, I think the big thing for the Sox fans there, Liam Hendriks and Tim Anderson deserving in our minds, but I'm kind of miffed Jose Abreu's not there. I think he's better than Luis Arraez and Ty France, and we're obviously miffed about Dylan Cease. So is that the bigger story for you, that, Tim obviously going to get his first at-bat? Liam was very electric, as Brandon says right there, that he should be invited every year after he was swearing up a storm on the mound. But is the bigger story who's not here?
I think so. I don't think that Jose is a huge snub. Yes, he's having a great year. The numbers look good, but as a first baseman, having only, 10, 11 home runs, you're not going to get the nod. And I think Ty France deserved it over him because of his hotter, more consistent first half start with the numbers especially. But, Dylan Cease is an elite pitcher. I cannot say that Jose Abreu is an elite first baseman this year, especially with the lack of power numbers. So I think that's more the egregious thing than Jose Abreu getting left off. And Jose's been there before. I'm sure having a couple days off and wherever he's going is much more better for him than going to L.A. and doing the thing out there in L.A.
To kind of give my perspective as far as Abreu, I mean, there were a few years Rizzo didn't get in, and I just think it's very deep at first base. So
it's a tough position.
It's very you get a lot of them. They're all very good, right? So to me, it's I'd be more upset about Cease not getting in.
Is it more egregious than Andrelton Simmons not getting an All-Star nod? Maybe,
perhaps.
I don't know.
Is it more egregious than Jonathan Villar not being here to play in the All-Star game for the Cubs? Yes, possibly.
Career.
Hey, and if you're looking to bet on tonight's game, you will not be able to find Anderson Simmons' home run bet on PointsBet. You won't be able to find Jonathan Villar home run prop on PointsBet at all. But the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free T-shirt from a CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet at allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. PointsBet's your home for live in-play betting, and it's just got even better. If you see an edge in the game you're watching, if your favorite team is primed for a comeback, don't just watch the game. Bet along with it live. There's more live betting, more live markets, and faster live cash-outs with the PointsBet app. So what are you waiting for? It's time to elevate your live betting game. Download the PointsBet app right now and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. All right, Cody, time to put your money where your mouth is. We are now picking, as you guys say, who you got, and also if we can get a final prediction for you.
Who you clicking?
Who you clicking? Who you clicking?
Luke, we didn't even really talk about
I didn't
this.
even think about
it.
Are we doing a combined one, or we're each doing one?
If you guys want to huddle up, you can. What are you thinking?
I mean, if we're gonna take a Cubs player, I mean, I guess I'll take Happ. He's gonna play later in the game, perhaps plays longer than Contreras.
As somebody who saw Tim Anderson not getting at bat in last year's game,
good call.
Okay,
Willson might be a safer bet because he's gonna get an at bat.
Now he's been really struggling.
That's
this
true.
is the kind of thing he usually rises to the occasion of excitement in a ballpark.
He has a home run in the All-Star game.
I'm gonna call Willson Contreras.
Okay, Wilson. You got anyone, Herb?
I'm thinking, do I have to pick Tim?
You don't have to pick him. You can
Aaron
pick who you want.
Judge. Aaron Judge is going to win the MVP.
I was going to pick Aaron Judge.
I think he's going to hit multiple home runs.
If I had to not pick a
Multiple.
Cubs player, I guess what about Ohtani? Like,
Is he going to pitch? We heard that, or is he just hitting?
I don't think he's going to pitch. But
That's another thing. He was
Ronald
picked as a
Acuna.
pitcher, too, when it didn't necessarily need to be. So, yes, I think Aaron Judge is going to show out tonight in L.A., maybe his future team. Maybe he's a future White Sox. No, he won't. He's going to hit a couple home runs tonight.
I think it's going to be over 7.5 runs, so I think it's going to probably be a high-scoring game. I like 5-4, which means home runs, so I think Aaron Judge will hit a homer. But we'll see who's right after tonight's game. We'll have a live All-Star post-game show for you after the final out is made here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel with all four of us. That's Cody Delmendo on the far left. You
Look
can
at
follow
that.
him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO.
That's what we're talking about.
You guys could have asked me to stand up. Hey,
no, it's
Sean.
more fun this way.
I mean, there's fat sticking out the back of my fucking shirt. Are you kidding
That's
me?
fat? No, it's
No,
not fat.
no,
That's just your,
It's at least
that's just your
skin.
back.
That's midriff is what we
Y'all
call
could have
that.
asked, hey, Sean,
have
you want to
fat.
stand? Could have made that a little bit better. You guys suck.
I mean, Sean wore it better. He's showing arms and legs.
Yeah.
Johan's not. He's showing ankles.
That's Wilson.
That's Willson Contreras
Wilson?
in a
Yeah.
matching top and bottom.
You sure?
Sort of looks
Huh.
like pajamas. Sort of, but very expensive pajamas. Sean is in a shorts top combo
Right.
that matches. Neither one technically a romper. Both very impressive.
Thank you
It's
very
floral.
much, Luke.
Nice.
I would say they're both vibes.
They are both vibes.
Thank you very
It
much.
takes very much confidence. Like Vinny's mustache, this takes confidence to wear. I would never wear it.
I wore it down in Miami, and I wore it because Dylan Cease was making fun of Yohan Moncada, and it looked like a Yohan Moncada outfit, so I bought it in honor of Dylan Cease not being an All-Star. I wore my Dylan Cease outfit, so there you go. You can follow Cody Delmendo on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. You can follow Luke Stuckmeyer on Twitter at Luke Stuckmeyer. You can follow Herb Lawrence on Twitter at Eckerwall23, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We will talk to you after the final out is made here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Go American League, I guess. I usually say go White Sox.
No,
but
they're going to win again. The American League will win again
Hey, let's
for the
hope-
99th time in a row or whatever it is.
Let's hope for extra innings so we can just see the first ever home run derby to decide
yeah.
the winner.
That'll be great.
There you
I
go.
hope
I'm in on
there's
that.
a tie.
There you go.
There you go.
That works. See ya.